morning and welcome back to the channel. So today is our last day in Corfu. We've had such a good time. We've just checked out at the hotel and we've got the bike till around 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. So what we're going to do, we're going to try the most adventurous trip that we've done since we've been here. It's something I've wanted to do since the moment we flew into Corfu. If you checked out episode 1, I'll probably drop some footage here in case you've missed the episode, but as we've flown in, we've seen a huge sandbank peninsula that forms like a big natural lake within the southwest of the island. It looks really remote. It doesn't look like it's densely populated or a tourist spot, and that's where we're heading today. So from where we are at the moment, which is more sort of northeast, we are going to head over the mountain range. I think it's like a 600-700 meter elevation. And I believe it's got an observatory at the top. So I don't know how challenging that track's going to be, but that's where we're going to point the sat nav, and we'll let you know how we get on, and we'll obviously get all the footage of it and see how we do. Also, what I'm going to do today, I want to do a full in-depth review of the Honda CB500 as well. I've ridden it for about 4 or 5 days now, so I've got a real good understanding about the bike, the pros and the cons, but overall I think it's an absolutely smashing bike, and much better than I thought actually before I jumped on it. So that's what we're doing today. Really exciting video. We've got loads to show you, but we are running a little bit late today, so we need to get cracking. So we'll jump on the bike and head over. So that's as far as I think I can come here. I've just traveled 5 kilometers down on the peninsula as we started, and it's getting too much for this bike. It's a little bit more rocky here, but we've passed some major sand dunes, massive thunderstorm last night, biblical thunderstorm, and there's loads of standing water still. So wet sand, dry sand, huge puddles. It's starting to get past the ability of this bike, certainly my riding skills as it stands with road tyres. I've already been Katie off, she's well down there, 5 kilometres down, probably burning in the heat, so I can't be long. Bless her, I've literally just abandoned her to see how far as I could get. I believe there's only literally like another half a kilometre before the end. I don't like to quit, but this isn't my bike and it's not set up for sand dunes. But whilst I'm here, I did actually want to do a bike review. I've been riding this bike for 4 or 5 days now, the Honda CB500X. What do I think of this bike? What are my thoughts on this bike? If I'm honest, I bloody love it. I think it's great. I think it's such a good bike. If you are in the market, 5 grand, dual sport bike, happy just going around the UK, going around Europe, want to do some long mileage, this is a brilliant bike, an absolutely brilliant bike. Is it slightly underpowered? Probably. I find myself, so for example, we've just driven an hour and a half here through hairpins, quite steep slopes up and down, and bear in mind I have a pillion passenger, which normally you wouldn't have. I do find myself thrashing this bike out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm up and down the gears every 5 minutes, and it does want for a little bit more power. That being said though, it is a lot cheaper than some higher powered alternatives. This bike is almost, a used version of this bike is almost half the price of the KTM that I bought. It depends what you want a bike for. On my KTM, I could absolutely blast through this and go to where I need to go. On this bike, I could probably get there. I don't doubt I could get to where I need to, but at the risk potentially of my legs and my knees and causing damage to the bike. But I would be very confident on the KTM with the appropriate tyres. Maybe set this up, slightly different tyre, slightly more aggressive off-road tyre, and yeah, maybe not have any problems. It does have the Showa shocks. It has good shocks. I've never had an issue with it. It's slightly underpowered. But I think it's a brilliant bike. I really, really do. The dashboard's all built in. It's a good looking machine. The whole time I've used this bike throughout Greece, I've caught myself looking at it by these beautiful views, photographing it. Do I do that with the KTM? I don't really. I don't, because it's a bit ugly. And when we all know it, all the KTMs are not the best looking bikes. They're brilliant bikes, but performance over aesthetic. This is a very, very nice blend of both, at a very healthy price point as well. And if you are in the market for a dual sport on a budget, I highly, highly recommend this bike. I'm pretty blown away by it actually, to be fair. When I was shopping for the KTM, I saw these knocking about and I didn't even give them a second look. I was like, nope, 500cc, not interested, go away. Mid-size for me was 700 to 900 and that's where I wanted to be. It is underpowered, but then you can argue mine's underpowered as well. Sometimes I find myself searching for a bit more power on the KTM as well. It is what it is, it depends. But it's a great all-rounder. If it's a tourer, like a dual sport tourer you're after, it's a great all-rounder. So, that being said, I need to head back. I've abandoned Katie. She's on a dune somewhere with no water, no sun cream, completely abandoned her. But I've got 5 kilometers in that direction and it was pretty sketchy coming here. So I'm gonna shoot off now and go and rescue her. Welcome back. So, we're back near the hotel. We've got to take the bike back in about an hour's time. Judgment day for the damage on the bike. I think I've rehearsed in my head about 2 or 3 times a day of what I'm going to say to that poor man as to why Katie dropped his motorcycle. That's essentially the direction that I'm going with it. But jokes aside, what was quite funny, and I actually felt quite ashamed at the time, the last scene where I'm driving through all the sand dunes on an adventure bike, and I decide to stop and think, no, it's too much. it's undrivable. As I was packing the camera kit up, a guy drove past me with his missus on the back on a Harley Davidson chopper. Absolutely just mugged me right off as he went past. Anyway, I thought I'd be honest with you. Always said I would do. Was quite embarrassing. So anyway, so we're getting a little bit of food now. We're going to drop the bike off, head back to the hotel, get showered and start to sort of plan and make our way back to the airport. So we'll touch base with you probably, I would imagine, at the airport for a bit of a recap on the trip. But if not, we'll pick you back up in the hotel. So we will see you in a little bit. We're just gonna have some dinner and yeah, in a bit. So we've just got back from the bike company. We're just back to the hotel now. I went down there. The guy's an absolute gent, and that shop is really, really good. A lot of the time you go to these places and they try and pick holes with the bike and charge you extortionate amounts of money for any damage. That guy is an absolute gent, to be fair. Went down there, showed him the bent brake lever, damage to the crash bar, damage to the aluminium casing around the exhaust. A few other little bits when unfortunately Katie dropped the bike. But no, he was an absolute gent. Looked at all the damage, went, doesn't matter. He was only bothered about the aluminium exhaust mould scratch. It was very sort of light scratch as it was. So he was like €60, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, more than happy to pay that. I don't think his wife was too happy though. She seemed very, very angry, and I didn't need to speak Greek to sort of translate that. She was like, you could have charged him more money for that. But it is what it is, and he was nice enough to give us a lift back to the hotel as well. So I just felt bad more than anything. It was a silly mistake, and you know, I don't like damaging people's stuff, so I did feel really bad, but happy to pay sort of any compensation. The bike's still in absolutely full working order. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a few scratches, but nonetheless, it would be annoying if that was your actual bike itself. So we're just back to the hotel now, but just waiting for a room to come available because we just need to freshen up, really. We're all gross and dusty from today's trip. So hopefully in about 5-10 minutes time, a room will come available and we can have proper freshen up, getting our clothes to go to the airport. We've still got a couple of hours to kill, so we're trying to think what to do in the interim. But I'm sure we'll keep you updated with anything that we're doing. Probably, I mean, I want to be able to sneak into the buffet if possible, but it is a bit risky, to be fair. But we'll see how it goes. But if not, we might leave and go to the airport a little bit early to get some food. Hi guys, we're back and back to reality now. As you can see, the weather's welcomed us back. It's raining, horrible, cold, but we've had an amazing trip. We've really, really enjoyed it. It's about 3:30 in the morning now, so we're going to head to bed. But I just want to say thank you for watching all the episodes. I really hope you've enjoyed it. We've absolutely loved making the content for you. So please support the channel, please like and subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.